Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and I'm joined as always with my co-host Darion Smith. And Darion, UAB is able to pull it out 35-21, man. And I tell you what, it's a good night, man. Offense got rolling, defense got rolling. I'm sitting here enjoying some candy corn and some peanuts,
Oh, no,
man.
no, let's not.
You know
Not
I had to go
candy
there.
corn. Oh man, come on. I thought you was gonna say like some kind of drink. You
Oh, I'm
know,
saving that for later. Yeah, I got to record first, and then I have some.
candy corn.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
all right,
Yeah,
all
candy.
right, all right. Let's go and get this out the way. Hey, listen, brother. I care about you. You know, I love you. I just don't want. I don't like seeing you go down this road. But first, before we do a podcast intervention, we're gonna talk about the game because that's a deeper, touchy subject.
Yes. Hey, well, how about Debo, man? You got 223 total yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. I mean, a career high for Debo, man. Just great to see him get it going and not one fumble tonight or today.
Not one.
That's just great to see, man.
Not only one fumble, not one turnover. Period.
Yes, the offense didn't turn it over at all, which was spectacular to see, especially coming off of last week. You could really tell that following the Liberty game last week, that was a point of emphasis in practice this week leading up to this game against Georgia Southern. Because, hey, Georgia Southern, I mean, they're a team that tries to force a lot of turnovers. And I thought UAB did a great job just holding on to the ball and taking what the defense gave them.
Right, and I'm glad you ended with that because that's the guy I want to give my props to, Brian Vincent, the play caller, the signal caller. For the offense, he not the signal caller, but just the play caller. He called a really good game. It was very balanced. And the
He
people, you
did.
might look at the stats and say, well, Dylan Hopkins only threw the ball 19 times versus Cal Vantrease that was 50. But the difference being is we didn't make those throws when we had to make those throws. Like it's not like, so if you go back to that Liberty game, we threw the ball like when it was obvious we were down, and
Right.
these throws was coming. They were mixed in perfectly. We had some shots downfield. We had a couple penalties we drew on them.
Mm-hmm.
A couple pass interferences. They were coming on first downs. They was coming on second. He mixed it in. And from last podcast I said that, I think I had to be kind of critical of, how the game was called versus Liberty because that's just how I felt. I'm not saying I
Right.
was right, but that's how I felt. This game, I want to make sure before we talk about the players, I want to make sure I give Brian Vincent his credit for calling a great game. It was just very balanced play actions. It was a couple draws, couple of stretch plays. They hit up inside the middle. We threw across the middle. We had some bombs downfield, even without Schrock. It looked like we didn't miss a beat. We actually looked more cohesive in the sense.
Yeah.
And so, so props to Brian Vincent and Darren Henshaw. They called a great game. They kept them on their toes, and I feel like they got the offense going.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Darian. I was impressed with the play calling from Vincent. Speaking of a few of those shots, I mean, at least 2 or 3 of them were literally like within inches of connecting. Like that, maybe Dylan could put a little more air into the ball, but I thought that they were catchable balls. But it's like you said, going back to Liberty, where a lot of the times it was just handed off on first down or whatever. It's really like UAB, even off of the first series that was scripted, even off of that, like I felt like UAB really did a good job of balancing out running and passing. Now, granted, I mean, Debo probably could have ran for almost 300 yards if he wanted to.
Right.
But I mean, I'm telling you, I'm just so happy to see this offense going. Really, the score. I mean, I could hear some UAB fans saying that it shouldn't have been as close as it was. But hey, it's still a double-digit win over, I think, a really good Georgia Southern team that I think is going to do good things in the Sun Belt East this year and can contend for that
Right.
Sun Belt East title. So hey, I'll take this. It's a good bounce back win coming off of the loss at Liberty last week. And hey, Liberty almost knocked off Wake Forest today at Wake Forest. So maybe
Right.
that loss at Liberty is, I mean, it still stings, but hey, maybe it's not as bad as we thought. I mean, Darion, you and I have discussed it on the pod and off the pod. Hey, you turn the ball over 4 times, you shouldn't even beat a FCS school, let
Right.
alone a really good team like Liberty. But yeah, definitely excited, are proud of what we saw on the football field at Protective Stadium today from the UAB offense. And I mean, let's talk about that defense too. Forcing 3 turnovers, Noah Wilder getting 18 tackles, a career high, and moving into the top 10 in UAB history for tackles. So congrats to Noah. But those 3, turnovers, Jalen Key got an interception, Tyler Taylor and Keandre Swoops. Man, and I felt, Darion, that those turnovers came at critical times that helped, swing the momentum back to UAB. Because, hey, there were some times, that we were wondering, like, oh, man, are we really about to possibly go to
Yeah, let them
overtime?
back in. Yeah. I
Yes.
thought it had it. We was on the precipice, and that was the best part about those turnovers. You said it. They were so timely. And
Yes.
that, when Tyler Taylor, he caught that interception, it was a point of the game. They were down 7. They was building some momentum. They had scored. I believe they scored the long run. They
Yes.
popped the long run on 4th and 1 to go down 7 points, 21-14. And then they stopped us. I believe it was a 3 and out. And they had momentum. They traveled well. Shout out to the Georgia Southern fans. They traveled really well. And
Yeah, hey, shout out, man. If there's any Georgia Southern fans listening to this, I mean, you guys travel well, like mad respect. And hey,
mad
we even had
respect.
we even heard some trash talking on our side from some Georgia Southern fans. Hey, love to see it, man. Love to see it.
Yeah, but what I love about those fans was, it was some trash talking going on, but as they were leaving out, I saw them. They were shaking hands with, the
Yes.
guy that was, talking trash from my side. It was respect.
Yes.
It was all basically within the line. So I love it. So shout out to them. They traveled well. They were class visitors and coming over. So I'm really a fan of the Georgia Southern people. But they got going. They were starting to make noise. That you could feel the momentum. So when Tyler Taylor, when he caught that interception, it was like right at a critical moment, and the crowd went crazy. It was able to give us the ball, and we was able to we seesawed back and forth. That's when Keandre Swopes, he was able to seal the game with his interception. But man, like it's so many people to like point out in that game. So I think on defense, for us,
I think we got to start there with Tyler Taylor, because me and you were talking at the game, and we haven't given this guy
he
enough credit,
flashed.
man. He
Right?
flashed today.
Yeah, he did a real good job of just flashing and just making timely plays. I think the only thing was he probably struggled a little bit in coverage. Number 25, they had a good receiving running back.
Yeah, and they got him out in the open, and he was quick. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Taylor couldn't get to him a couple times. But other than that, hey, Taylor, and he did a good job. I thought, for the majority of the game, UAB just stuck with that 3-man front because
hmm
because they knew that Georgia Southern was going to try to air it out on them, and so let's start there with the corners, Darion. We've got to give a shout out to the corners, especially Starling Thomas. And I remember you at the game saying that you think this might have been one of Starling's best games.
yes, I think has been his best game, and I think this is like his best years. Just watching him, A&M, Liberty, and now this game, he's been so consistent. And
He has.
what's good with corners, if you don't hear their names often, that means that they locking something up. And
Yep.
he's been doing a good job of like just being quiet, like because they don't want to go his way because he's not allowing nothing. But David Reeves had a really, really fabulous plan for Georgia Southern. People forget this is an explosive offense. They came in
It
second in the
is.
nation, right?
Yeah. Just put 45 up on Nebraska the week before.
Exactly. And I know Nebraska got blew out by Oklahoma, but Nebraska is a P5 school that recruits well. You know.
Exactly.
So these guys, they can do it, but our defensive game plan was really, really good. So we didn't really focus on pressure too much. Kind of sat back in the zone, and we did not. The best thing is, I was just seeing it all game. We made them, if they scored, besides that one long run on 4th and 1 where they creased us, they just creased us, and that long run. But they had to move the ball consistently. We were not giving up big plays. We wouldn't let nobody behind us. We was playing like this soft zone, and it's just forcing them to be real patient. And one thing I said about Van Treese is he has a gunslinger mentality. Like you can tell that they kept trying to take shots, but our guys weren't there, and I felt like that was going to break them. Yeah, but they did a good job of trying their best to kind of stick to that running game.
Yeah,
because I feel like that was the most, especially in the second half, that really kind of started working for them because of the defense we were playing. But we did a good job of being disciplined and being opportunistic because we knew sooner or later they was going to go back and try to throw that ball and air it out. And bam, we got them to 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 12 or whatever. We kind of took our opportunities to kind of mess up their game plan. So then if you run it on second down and we stop you, now it's 3rd and 10.
Right. And
so we kept catching them.
No, yeah, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, I was done.
Well, I was going to say, Darion, like for those that missed the game and you look at the box score and you see where Southern had 214 rushing yards, you might be concerned, but I was just going to emphasize what you just said. Like we were letting them do that. Like with having a 3-man base look up front, we were basically saying, okay, well, we'll give up 3-4 yards of rush or whatever. Like, we'll give it up, but we're not going to give up the explosive plays, which is what this offense had done 2 games before heading into this game. So definitely, I was just wanted to emphasize what you just said and, relating it to the rush yards and just giving kudos to David Reeves and that staff. I really think this is the 3rd game in a row, but I think all 3 games, the defensive staff have had a great plan, and really they worked all 3 weeks, for their game plan.
All 3 weeks. It's been the perfect plan because I thought, and maybe that's what they were thinking themselves. I thought they were going to bring pressure because Van Treese is not a scrambler, but he can move around in the pocket well. He can evade pressure. And he'll use his legs if he needs to. But no, they said no, we're going to sit back, and I think they realized that we had better athletes. Our corners, our defensive backfield, I feel like they were just better athletes, and we were disciplined. They was able to pop some here and there. They're a good offense. I just think that we were just disciplined and sound, and we stuck to our defensive game plan. And I liked how stout we were on the inside.
Yes.
I like how our ends, our linebackers, they remained disciplined, and they didn't give up containment too much. And I just think, man, I shout out to our corners and safeties. I feel like they just played a really, really good game, and I feel like they were always in the right spots. And they gave up some some yardage, but when it was time, they buckled down. I mean, Van Treese threw the ball 50 times for only about 204 yards and 3 interceptions. That's really, really good. Mind you, like I said, this is like most of the time without pressure, most of the time, because we was just in the 3-man, 3-man rushing. So our defensive backfield and our linebackers, they did really, really well. So, man, shout out to the coaching staff. Man, they on both sides of the ball, they had a really, really good plan. Really, really good plan. On offense, I think we was able to just keep them honest enough with the passing and threaten them downfield to where you can't play up like that. It was a couple times we had them two high safeties, and we started hitting them with Debo. Like he was killing that dude. Oh my God.
I swear Debo loves contact. It's like he just lives for it, man.
Yeah, like that one touchdown run, he basically took on 3 Georgia Southern defenders.
And bounced off near the sideline and just bounced off all 3 of them and walked in.
We was looking at each other like, what happened? Like I thought he went down. He was on the sideline, 3 guys. And next thing you know, I heard the crowd say, "Ooh," and he was gone. I'm like, well, this dude he's special. I think UAB fans, we need to sit down and we need to really enjoy Debo, and I think, in my opinion, I think as of right now, he's the best running back to ever come through here.
Oh yeah, I would agree, and that's
It's
saying something too. With all the good running backs we've had in this program, Spencer Brown, Aaron Reeves. I mean, a bunch of good running backs.
Jordan
So
Howard.
Jordan Howard, of course, Dan Burks. I mean, there's been so many good, running backs in this program. But I'd have to agree. This is a guy that he's going to play at the next level. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And just again, I know I mentioned it earlier in the episode, but just kudos to Debo and Skull too. They had those fumbles at Liberty, but they came to practice, worked on it. Coach believed in them, and
hmm
and they proved it, man. That they didn't put it on the ground one time
Right.
Saturday.
And I
So that's
know, and
great.
I know we said we kind of hate that we have to bounce back, but it feels good to bounce back.
I'm
And
telling you,
you
yeah.
had guys like us challenging them. We were complaining. We fans. We're fans.
Right.
But it's the coaching staff job. They put in the players. They put in the work. And
Hmm.
they obviously put in the work. I think the next step, the next evolution in the offense would be those long passes that were just inches out of reach.
Yeah,
We got
hitting
to
some of
start coming up
those.
with those. If we come up with those, I this offense, this offense can be something. So, man, I just want to see us keep on developing, keep on going down this track that we're going down, and I think we'll have some pretty good days ahead, the best days ahead of us. And I wanted to make sure we give a shout out to that O line because a lot of those touchdown runs, Debo wasn't touched.
No, right. Yeah, they were blocking. They were making those holes, man. It was a good day for the offensive line, I think.
Yeah, we was talking about bounce back. I feel like even though I feel like they were dominant, especially the first half against Liberty, I felt like Liberty won that second half against our offensive line.
They
But
did.
they came and they made a statement today. Uh,
Definitely. And hey, and looking on the other side of the ball on the defensive line, when you only have three people, a three-man front, you've got to have those three guys try to put some good pressure on the opposing team. And my boy, Fish McWilliams, two
oh,
TFLs today. He was in that backfield, man. It was great to see Fish, have a good game. And he's had a couple other good games. He had a really good game against A&M. But it
mhm.
was great to see him today just, get back to doing Fish things.
And what I realize I love about Fish is you don't see it on the D line too much, but he's a very high IQ guy.
He is.
I realized I was like, what is it that makes him good? He's good with his hands, but
Hmm.
it's like I can tell that maybe he's like a film junkie because he seemed like his recognition of what's going on. A lot of times, so a lot of times D line guys aren't the smartest. I would just be honest. They aren't the smartest. They just go get football.
Yeah.
Let me. I got this gap. I'm gonna. But I realize he recognizes plays, and you can see it. Like a lot of times when opposing teams try screens or whatever, he's the one that sniffs stuff. He sniff it out. But I was just watching him when those TFLs and stuff, and how he lock out and how quickly he recognized plays. I'm like, this is all film study and then technique. He's not the
Yes.
biggest guy. He's not the strongest. He's just good.
Right.
So shout out to him and Isaiah Forte. They were really, really good for us on the inside. They were just dogs.
Hmm.
Drew Tuazama had a great game. Kelly Sanders had a really good game.
Yes.
Yeah, so shout out to those guys, man. They were just really physical. And I just feel like they just followed the game plan. They didn't try to do too much. And
Right.
they did what they were supposed to do. So just overall, man, I wanted my boy Bryce Davis to get on the
Oh
score.
man, we wanted him so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Big 82, the tight
I'm
the tight
telling you,
end that
man.
we didn't know was a tight end.
I'm telling you, he came in on those jumbo packet. Hey, he looked good. And hold on, Brady Miller was the guy's name. Yeah.
Oh, is it
So,
Wilson?
uh, uh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. But shout out to him, man, coming in, and leading that jumbo package. And Southern didn't want anything to do with that when he came in.
Yeah, I was like who is 82? He keeps coming in the game, and he was doing this thing, blocking. He was
Hmm.
strictly blocking, but shout out to him, man. And then shout out to the whole team, and I just want everybody to remember, man, like let's give Matt Quinn some grace. Yes, he
Oh,
missed.
okay, yeah. I was about to lead us into that. This was the only, I think, negative. But yeah, Darren, go ahead and yeah, because I totally agree with what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, this dude has been money for us. All the times he's kicked, he's usually accurate unless it's like super long or something. I mean, he just came from the A&M game. He made a 50-something yarder. He's very
Hmm.
reliable. I mean, sometimes we all have bad games. I've had bad games at whatever position at. Sometimes at those positions that stand out, like kicker, I mean, it
Hmm.
just stands out a little bit more. You don't know. A lot of times, a receiver can have a bad game, and you don't even know. They can run bad routes or whatever, and just be horrible, and you don't know it. But a kicker, you're gonna see it, and he had a bad game. But we look at his history. He's mostly always reliable, and we don't. I heard some of our fans saying some things, and I hated that. I wanted to say something, but he is
Yeah.
he's reliable, and he's been great for us. So Matt Quinn, head up, chin up. Next game, I know you're gonna, and then somewhere down in the season as the schedule goes, I believe he's gonna come through with a game winner or two.
Me
So
too.
we believe in you, Blazer Nation. We totally behind you. We waiting for the next game for to bounce back. I know you will.
Definitely agree. Well, guys, speaking of bounce back, UAB bounces back 35-21 over the Georgia Southern Eagles and improves to 2-1 on the season. UAB can now rest up for a week. UAB is now entering a bye week. And then 2 weeks from now, we will go to Houston to take on the Rice Owls. So, hey, we need to get some revenge on those Rice Owls after what happened last year, right, Darren?
Oh yeah, that's one game we got to get them. I feel like they talked a little tough too. Like, who are y'all
And
talking
they
like?
said we were the bully. Isn't that what they said? We were the bully. Oh,
Yeah, like I think they said something about bullying the bullies. I'm like, hold on, y'all. All right, right. It's like, hey, come on now. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it's okay.
yes,
It's okay. Let's just wait out. Oh, I hope we curve something. But yeah, we'll get to that. Like we're enjoying this one, and then we'll get to it.
definitely. And guys, we'll be back. We're going to do another episode during the bye week next week. So what Darian and I are going to do is we're going to have kind of like a year so far, like how things are going. I mean, I know it's only been 3 games, but we'll do that. And also, we want to do a couple Q&A. We'll make this show partly a Q&A show. So, I guess Darren, we should have talked about this before the show. How do we want to do this? Do we want them to just post their question on Twitter, like under this episode, or on Facebook, or do we want them to email it to us, or maybe
Hmm.
all the above? I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
all
really
of the
sure.
above. However, you guys, because I know we have some people on Facebook.
Yes.
I know we
And
have people on Twitter. Just send
so
us just comment or just messages, and just we'll see it. Y'all know
yeah,
us.
right. And I see all my DMs, and Darian sees his DMs. So if you have a question for the Blazer Victory podcast, either send it to us, tweet it out, under the show. When you see us post the show, just post your question underneath, and we'll try to answer a few of those if we get a lot of good responses. We can answer a few of those if you guys would like. I guess right now we'll leave it to just football. We'll just stick with football for now.
Hmm.
Hey, we got basketball on the horizon in a couple months, so I know I can't wait to see what Andy Kennedy does there. But yeah, we'll just stick to football questions for now since we are in football mode. But Darren, did I forget anything, or do we need to just wrap this one up?
Yeah, we can go ahead and wrap it up. I'm a guy. I'm a guy that I'm always at home with my kids and my wife, but they we're gonna enjoy ourselves a little bit tonight. We're gonna we got the kids' grandma here, their nana, so we're gonna have a little fun. So, and that's thanks to the Blazers. They were able to put us in a good mood to where we
Yes.
may go out on the town a little bit and have fun. So, I think we got it, man. Like again, good job to the coaching staff. Like I felt like they took the brunt of the criticism of Liberty, but now you got to give them credit when the credit is due, and they
Definitely.
answered the call. So I would like to give the game ball to you guys.
I love it. It's all about that 1-0 mentality. Just go 1-0 every week. But guys, without further ado, we'll go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll be back next week for the bye week. But Darion, you want to go ahead and close us out?
Blazer Nation, let's ride.